Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Leicester City Women's Wrap-Up Show. I'm joined once again by James. James, how are you doing today?
Yeah, not too bad. I hear it's your birthday, so happy birthday.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's just starting. Hopefully I can do some stuff, but we'll see. I'm playing along for now. So Sunday, we've got a big match coming up. We're finally able to play Crystal Palace. I'm hoping it's not postponed, so I have to ask, how is the weather in the UK? Because obviously I don't know.
The good news is it has been quite warm this week. So once it got up to 13 degrees, which is obviously classed as quite warm over here. So I think the weather's good. It was frosty this morning, but it wasn't that bad. So I don't think we'll see any postponements this weekend unless we see a sharp frost, but hopefully not.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that we don't, because it has been forever since we've played in the league. Our last league game was against Liverpool, which was like 7 weeks ago, which is far too long. I feel so bad for the players who just haven't been able to play. Like it's ridiculous, but at least they've been able to train at Beaver Drive. It's really awesome to see. I know a lot of the players are looking forward to this game. So going into it, Crystal Palace is like a fairly strong side. We've seen them put up a good fight against us. Our most recent game against them was in the Conti Cup. We had a 1-0 win with that beautiful Flint free kick. That's a goal I'll never forget. It was just too good. But yeah, and like looking back at the league, we beat them 4-1. Of course, they scored first, and at first, whenever we concede first, it's kind of like don't know how this one's gonna go, but just an outstanding performance in that game. We saw a lot of pressure coming from us. We did see a lot of pressure coming from Palace as well, and they did expose us in certain spots, but we were able to defend and push them back. So going into this game, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling quite confident. And I think my only worry is how do we stop Bianca Baptiste? Last time they played the London Bees, she scored 2, set 2 up. I think she's their main threat. So if we can stop her, and I think the way to stop her is to stop her supply. If we can cut her supply dead, then I think it stops her. And I think if we can stop her, then we've got a great chance of winning and
Oh,
obviously stay up.
absolutely. Yeah. She's pretty strong down that right wing. She really pushes forward. She's a phenomenal player. She was up for the December Player of the Month. Of course, our Flint ended up winning that one, but just an outstanding player. And yeah, rewatching their games, like I did rewatch them recently, and she's a driving force. And you can tell that she really pushes the team as well. Like she's got that leadership
Yeah.
role. And I we'll see what happens, but we do have a very strong defensive back line. You know, they kept so much out in these past games,
Yeah.
and I expect them to continue. Of course, they were able to expose our back line a few times, and that's where things became a little bit shaky, but I think our defense is incredibly strong, and we've seen so many great things in so many other games that I'm not too worried, but I don't want to repeat myself, but you know what I say every episode. I never like to say too much. But
Yeah, and I know what
that
you mean.
being said,
I know.
no, go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, yeah, I think it'd be a tough game. That I was going to kind of come on to kind of a question for you. Obviously, we've not played in 7 weeks, and yes, they've been training at Beaver Drive, but do you think there's going to be some rustiness in there because of that? It is a lot. It's not a small delay; it's a long delay. They've been playing obviously in training, but that competitive against different opposition kind of game they've probably not had, and it's 7 weeks. It's a long period, but will there be rustiness in there? Obviously, we need to have a good start, but do you think there'll be a bit of nervousness because I've not played in so long?
Yeah, that's definitely something to consider, because I feel like for any player, any team going into a game and they haven't played in so long, like you see that all the time. It can show. But I think that we have a fairly strong side, and this morning in Jonathan's press conference, he did say like we're going into this game fully knowing that this is for promotion. We're going in for promotion. Durham are right behind us. We got to do this. So I think that they have that drive, and I've always said that this is a team full of ambition and passion, and I definitely think that they can really step up. We might not see a strong performance like usual, like as strong. Of course, we'll see a strong performance, but it might not be as strong as it could be. But I definitely think that having this game against Palace is a good setup to kind of help them get back into their groove. And I mean, it's for every team in the league right now. No one's really been able to play. So I'm pretty confident. I hope things go well. Every fan does, but and how are you feeling in regards to that? Are you same page?
Yeah, same page. I'm quite confident, if I'm honest. I think that their back line's a lot easier to get at, if I'm honest. And I think Flynn's going to cause them so many problems at the back. And the goals that she scored so far, I won't say they're all worldies, but there have been a few good ones. So I'm hoping to see another rocket from her at some point. And the free kicks, as you said, December goal of the month have been amazing. So I think she'll be our main threat to them. And I think it's going to be a tough game because obviously both teams have not played in a while. But I think we'll get that edge. I think as we discussed on our last show, around how the girls have now got this togetherness. They help each other out. So I think if someone's having an underpar game, the rest of them pick them up. And if they're all playing well together, we just get better and better. And I think that's kind of the ethos of that team going forward. Is we're just as a family, and we help each other out and through the lows and the highs. And I think it's going really, really well. And I don't want to say friend of the show, Jonathan Morgan, but as Jonathan said, he's done a lot of work with them to get that bond together. And a huge credit to him and the coaching staff, as well as all the girls.
Yeah, they've just been phenomenal, and the way that they interact on social media and are just so together. Like you can tell in photos and when players do conferences or interviews, like you can just tell that they do have that bond and they do have that connection, and they all want this promotion. Like this is the end goal. This is what we're all aiming for. They know what the fans want. They know how badly we want this. We know how badly the club want it. So I know that they're capable of big things, and they're going to go into this game with that confidence, like you said. Going back to your points about Flint, with her goal scoring, I am always seeing people tweeting like she does not score tap-ins. And we saw that against Palace both times. She does not go for tap-ins. Like that first game, she wasn't able to get one in, but it was just every time, every attempt, it's a rocket, nothing else, nothing but insane goals. And I love her as a player. I have so many friends that watch our games sometimes and they're like, man, I want Flint. I'm like, no, you can't. She's ours. And just, she's an incredible player, as well as she's kind of an all-around striker. You see her fall back a lot. We did see that a lot against Bristol. She does fall back to help defend, and she does fall back into the midfield sometimes to help set up plays. She's not at all a selfish goal scorer. She will make crosses and she will pass the ball up if she feels someone else can put it in.
Yeah.
And I just think that's amazing. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what she does the next time we play Palace. So those are my thoughts on Flint. Just an incredible player.
Yeah, and I just want to touch one thing as well. She seems to have this vision, and she sees the ball early. And if it's a half chance, generally she hits the target, or sometimes it goes in, as we've seen. But she seems even half chances. A lot of strikers, you go, oh, that's never going in. But she seems to hit a lot of them, and a lot of the time she hits the ball, she hits it really sweet. I've found.
Yeah.
So I think some of the crosses that come in, and then she hits them. And I think to myself, a lot of footballers, men and women, struggle with that technique because it's a difficult technique. But she seems to have this early thought of where the ball's going, where she needs to be, what she needs to do before the ball has even got there. And when she gets there, obviously she does the best. Sometimes it goes in, sometimes it doesn't. But she seems to have that ability to see things early. And most of the top strikers in the men and women's game, when they have that vision to see things early, they become top players. And I think, yes, she scored 12 goals already this season, which is huge. But I can see her going on and doing more and more. Hopefully they get promoted this season. Next season, I think she'll just get better and better. I think the thing is, next season is obviously she's going to go back to Man City at some point. And that kind of game there, I think she'll do really well there, because she'll kind of say, this is how good I've become since I've left there. And they're the kind of things that I love to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And she definitely has, you can tell she's got that drive to make it for Team England. make it onto the Lionesses. And that's something that I can definitely see her doing 100%. If she keeps up with what she's doing, there's no doubt that they're going to notice her and she's going to be called up before we know it. And the crazy thing about Flint is I have no idea like which foot is her dominant one. I believe it's her left, but she puts it in with either foot and I would not be able to tell the difference. She's just such an outstanding player. Her movement on the ball is amazing. And every game, I just look forward to watching her. So with that, I'm sure I know your answer now, but players to watch, who you got on your list?
Mainly just Flint. No, I think as a whole, I think that's words right. I think the whole team are going to come together this weekend. I think Flint's going to be the key. Is how do you release Flint to do what she needs to do? And again, I know we say this on the men's side of things. That midfield battle is going to be key.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want your midfield to stop them. Baptiste getting the ball, but who do you think in our midfield is good enough to do that? Obviously Devlin will be in there. Do you think she's got the ability to stop them passes and also create passes?
Yeah, I like how you mentioned Devlin because I was definitely going to mention her. Just rewatching the games, she was a player that stood out so much. Her footwork is insane. Like they call her CD7, and there's that relation with Ronaldo, of course. Like she's an outstanding player. Her footwork is insane. Like she's just constantly using technique. You'll see her mega players every now and then, and you're just like, every time she doesn't hold back. So just rewatching as well, she does intercept so much. She makes so many interceptions. She stops play so many times from the opposition, and she moves the ball forward like crazy. So she's definitely a player in the midfield that I'm going to be keeping my eye on. Just another outstanding player. Our whole squad's outstanding. It's so hard to always say, like, who am I watching for? There's too many good players.
Yeah, I think you've also got to mention Sophie Barker. Obviously, just coming back from international duty. I think Scotland did okay.
I think you're thinking of Sophie Howard.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
I always get the Sophies mixed up too. It's okay.
Sorry. So obviously she's just coming back. I think the defence. The thing is with Leicester, and I think I know the men's team have had a lot of injuries. I think the women's team's starting to pick itself, and I think that's really good of a team that's winning. I mean, you look at all the great teams. You look at the Man United women's, the Chelsea women's, the Man Cities of this world. Their teams pick themselves because they have that great talent, and I think it's really good the way Leicester has got that team now that's starting to pick itself. And you've also got fringe players that are pushing forward to get into this team as well. In football, a lot of pundits always talk about squad depth, but I think we're starting to build that squad depth. I know we've had a conversation before, we've not seen the new players yet, but that squad is starting to be built, and I think it's a brilliant squad.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's just we have so many outstanding players. Like I keep saying that, but I'm not wrong. It's just so great to see these players every week, and they do make those connections. And it just seems like whenever we watch them play, it's like the flow is easy for them. Like we see Paige Bailey-Gale pushing up along the sides there. We see LaShante Paul doing the same. We see them both putting in goals. If they're not putting them in, they're feeding them. We see Remy Allen doing the same. These are all people that scored in Palace games, so that's why I'm kind of throwing them out there. But they've also just been amazing players, and this team is just, like you said, this is a strong team, and it's really formed itself. And of course, we've got great managers. We've got a great team of staff. We've got a great training facility. Like Leicester's making a name for themselves this year. And at the start of the season, I know that Liverpool were definitely the favorites for a number of fans to be promoted since they've been in the WSL. They've just come down, and everyone's expecting them. But there's the table. There's Leicester at the top. That's awesome. So, Leicester have really made a name for themselves, and it's just so great to see. The support has been amazing from fans as well. Like we're seeing so much support, even though people aren't able to be in the stadiums. Like Jonathan said it himself online, people have just been amazing, and the season is great. I'm really looking forward to this Palace game and to the other games that we've had postponed that are rescheduled. So It's going to be awesome. We can see that there's a tight spot at the top of the table there. So do you have any comments on that?
First of all, just wanted to touch briefly on Liverpool. So I think everyone thought Liverpool would do well because of the name more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've proved this season that Leicester City is a name to be reckoned with, because they've got that team togetherness. They're playing well together. They're scoring goals, 36 for 15 against plus 21 is huge, if I'm honest. And that proves that they're playing well together. So it's not just the name, it's the actual team and the togetherness of Leicester City that's shining through here, and the way they're playing. With regards to games, I know it's difficult because a lot of games are being postponed. So I think although we're top, we're constantly looking over our shoulder of what the teams below you are doing, how many games in hand they've got. So for instance, we've got a game in hand over Durham and 2 games in hand over Sheffield United. So I think we just need to take one game at a time, if I'm honest. Yes, I think we'll go up. I think we'll go up as champions, but it's just taking that one game at a time, seeing who's next. Obviously, last time we were hoping that we'd have played Durham by now, and I think that was a key game, and I think that was one of them games that probably you want to get out of the way because they're your close rivals. And it's obviously still not happened. So I think, yeah, let's hope we get a win against Crystal Palace, keep the pressure on at the top, and hopefully try and get us to break away. Although there's games in hand, once you start breaking away, I think that mentality of your own players as well as oppositions these are top, these are pulling away from the top. And then teams below you start to make mistakes because they start to push their games further. So I think it's only good. So hopefully a win on this weekend, Sunday. And let's hope we keep that gap, and hopefully we start creating a gap, and hopefully by the time I play Durham, we may have got a 3-point gap with a bit of luck.
Absolutely. Yeah. Durham freaked me out. I'll be honest. That 32 points and 32 points freaked me out. But we have such a strong team, like we've always said. So I have so much faith in our side, and I think it'll be great. Unfortunately, the game this weekend is not being shown live, but it will be shown as a full match replay right at full time on the FA Players, so you can watch there. We'll definitely be doing a catch-up after the game, as usual. So it's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to this game. Do you have any final thoughts?
I just hope the game goes ahead. It's been far too long without them playing. So just looking forward to actually watching them play. And it'd be good to get on afterwards and chat about the game.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% for sure. Yes. I'm so eager. I'm like, yes, we can finally play a game. And I will be so disappointed if it gets postponed. But as of right now, the weather looks good based on what you said. And so far, so good. Other games have gone through on the women's side. So I think we'll be fine. But fingers crossed. But yeah, so it's good catching up with you, James. Thanks again for coming on. And I'm really excited about this game. Here's to a good result. And yeah, see you on Sunday.
Yeah. See you later.